Friday Sips Live, it's Friday Sips Live, it's Friday Sips Live, it's live and we're sipping. That's what it is.
Welcome to Friday Scenes Live. I'm in the cabaret with the talent this evening, the effervescent Dan Cavallari. I guess that makes me the MC.
I guess so. Hello.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, folks. Drinking. We missed you guys last week.
It's been a while.
We missed each other last week.
Cheers. Yeah, welcome back, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was working last week, and I don't recommend that at all. So what
I was not working.
No, what were you? Oh, you were in Santa Fe.
We left here and went to Taos, and I did not know that there was a place with more completely high people than here in Colorado. It was shocking how stoned everybody was.
Small mountain towns tend to be like that.
Very nice people. Happy.
Yes.
And then we went to Santa Fe for a couple days.
That sounds delightful.
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
I feel refreshed and ready to get back to the hard and dangerous work of drinking with you.
Come on, livers. Let's go.
Let's get it on.
Let us venture forth.
Yes. So it's good to be back.
It is.
And,
it is.
We have Kathy, Larry, Bender, and Eric is. It's kind of a weak excuse. He's saving somebody's life in an ICU.
Lame.
Whatever. Maybe one day it'll be us.
That was alarming. Thank you.
Probably inevitable.
Staying on our toes here.
A little hot there on the side.
All right. Well, we got a lot of bottles here.
We do. Part of the trip, Melissa, my wife, had never been to Buena Vista. Hey, Ryan.
Ryan, hey.
We don't get to see Ryan live much. He always watches after, though.
Oh, okay. Hi, Ryan.
Very nice. She never been to BV, so we went.
That's Buena Vista.
Buena Vista, not
Buena.
Buena. We went to Buena Vista and stopped in at Deerhammer.
Sweet. So
we picked up. Yeah, and you and I already got into these.
Mm-hmm.
And there will be, this weekend, we'll post our first podcast in a long time. And,
yeah.
And on that podcast, we talked about this whiskey.
We've got 2 podcasts recorded that...
we do. And that explains...
Mr. Tincups.
That explains the Tincups.
If you guys are podcast people, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. It's The Practical Still. And there's lots of episodes already recorded that we did, but we stopped because we started doing this. But we're going to do the podcast again.
We ran out.
We did. We didn't want to deprive you all of our beautiful faces every week. So, but we have a podcast as well. So if you do a podcast, sign up now because we got some new ones coming out. And they're good.
Yeah, and the Tincup is a nod to the second time we've had a guest.
Yes.
And that guest is Jess Graber.
That's right.
Co-founder of Stranahan's and the founder of Tincup.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely fellow.
So that'll be out soon.
Yeah, that was fun.
But more importantly, should we drink something?
We shall. Okay. We should.
Let me finish
now,
what I was drinking.
If there's a knock, in my estimation, on Deerhammer, it's that the single malt, at least, doesn't play well with other whiskeys.
Mm-hmm.
Now, everything we have here is extra proofy.
Yes.
So unlike the standard offering, is it 92 or 94 proof?
For the standard Deerhammer?
It's one of those.
I can tell you.
If you have a sip of the standard American single malt from Deerhammer after you drink some barrel proof something or another,
it's not good.
Not good. And likewise, generally you should drink it first.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we should drink that first. But I haven't had any Deerhammer rye since we were there in the distillery, so I bought a bottle of that while we were there too.
So the standard American single malt is 92 proof. Okay. Just toss that on the end. Do we already have one out?
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, there you go.
I brought my version of the Practical Still Single Barrel.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have Progeny, which we were endlessly entertained by the name the other day. But Progeny is American single malt, 2 years old, comes out of that barrel, goes into an ex-mead barrel, spends 2 more years. One could argue, is that finishing or maturation?
Progeny. So there's birds and bees in that barrel.
Yes,
apparently.
birds and bees, and 102 proof, and then the rye, which I bought the version of the rye that I had read the description of and gotten excited, but I do not remember the actual description.
And this is just out because my wife just wanted to sip earlier, so I figured that would be this is just what we're sipping now. So that's our warm-up sips today. And then the Tincups, I got them both here because we just opened them with Jess Graber on the podcast, which you will listen to. Some of you might have already actually heard it because we mistakenly also
Yes, what thank you, Larry. When Dan was in Pennsylvania at Scott's house, we used the same remote recording software we always use to live stream that. Somebody neglected to turn that part of it off, and so we unknowingly live streamed the interview with Mr. Graber.
But if you missed it, you'll get to hear it later.
Yeah, we were pretty sure we didn't say anything stupid outside the recording, but being as it's us, we just deleted the whole thing.
Yeah.
And again, thank you, Larry, for telling us.
Yes. Where are we starting? We have
Ryan.
Ryan really enjoyed it. So Ryan's already heard it.
Well, Ryan, you tell us.
Yeah. How was it?
Did we say anything stupid before or after the recording? I enjoyed the Tincup conversation too. I also enjoyed the Tincup whiskey, which I had regular Tincup before years ago. Not particularly impressed. Never had the rye, but we opened the Tincup, the regular. I don't know what to call it. The plain old Tincup. I thought it was okay for what it is. It was fine, and it's entertaining. The bottle's cool.
Yeah.
Jess is super nice. The rye I thought was quite delicious at the price point.
I did too, and we should talk about that later. But for now, I need some whiskey.
Deerhammers.
All right, let's start with Deerhammer.
Deerhammer. I will remember at least once today to turn the pour cam on.
Hey, look at you.
And I will say, let's go deep. Let's go right to Progeny.
Going to the Progeny.
And Progeny, by the way, and I know I keep saying this, and I've yet to actually bottle any samples. Certainly on the sample list.
Speaking of the sample list, we should probably put everything out one day and just say choose.
Well, I mean, I'll just email
a
list of the stuff. Cheers, Dan.
Everybody gets a little cream of Kentucky.
You're not wasting one of my bottles sending that stuff.
So
it's even better today.
Yeah, to me the big thing is chocolate.
That's a hallmark of Deerhammer. It does appear in a lot of some other single malts, but it's very prominent. But now the nose has got that bright mead, honey.
If you like super dark chocolate, like 80-90% dark chocolate, you're going to love this. I mean, this is just... Oh, I forgot about the heater. I can go turn it off. But you're going to love this. This is just delightful, big chocolate notes as far as I can tell. And more than that, like cocoa, like the raw cocoa.
I stand by what I thought the other day. You ever had chocolate that's got orange in it? This is chocolate that's got honey and lemon in it. It's just delicious.
It really is. I like it. And so what is this again story wise?
So he distills his normal normal single malt, 2 years, and they're the normal, and Lenny does heavy toast light char barrels, and then it comes out after 2 years, goes into the ex-mead barrel from, what was the name of that
Redstone
Meadery. I did not know we referred to those things as meaderies. It sounds like meat to me.
Meat.
But I'm from the South, so a lot of things sound like meat. And then after those 2 years, it ends up in the bottle.
It's a good place for it because this is delicious.
Delicious. And Progeny, this is the third one, obviously, since it has the number 3. But they're a little different each time. They're not always that, but they're always some kind of collaboration.
I also do get the sense that if you were drinking something, a bourbon before this, you might balk a little bit about the overwhelming flavor because this is really different. So you want to drink this on your own, I think, on its own.
But at 102 proof, I don't think it would suffer from the same fate as...
No, definitely not. No. Definitely not. Bender says there's a new special release from Jack Daniels as a single malt sherry finished.
They are on a tear with new releases.
I was going to say, I go into stores now, all I see is these Jack Daniels releases.
But I think we talked about that maybe briefly, but when the triple mash came out, I didn't even know they were making... And it was bottled in bond, so maybe the rules get a little thin, but it would have had to have been made there.
Wasn't
because Woodford has done malts before.
Wasn't one was the triple mash and one was a bottled in bond?
There was bottled in bond. There was triple mash. They were both bottled in bond.
Okay.
But you thought, they've got some single malt whiskey somewhere, and sure enough, here you go. There's full releases of it. I can't keep up with those so far.
We'll test them. This is really good. I really like this Progeny. This was how much?
$75 at the distillery and select Colorado liquor stores. So nobody here today will get that. So again, if you want to try that, we'll put that on the list and sample those.
Yeah, I mean, this is just so off the beaten path of flavors. I really like the different things that come at you. I mean, it is chocolate, it is mead, it is that honey, but all of it is just such a subtle story.
Yeah, and not the first unpleasant thing about it.
No. Nope.
I remember asking Lenny if he chill filtered, and he said no. And then later I thought, they're at 8,000 feet. How could he not chill filter?
Yeah. It gets chilled.
It's very few times a year where it's not cool up there. But he doesn't.
We just filter.
He just filters the whiskey.
That's good. I like that a lot. Mm-hmm. This is the rye. I've never had his rye. Well, I haven't had the rye.
You did, but it was the first day.
Yeah.
And by the time we got to the rye barrels, we've been crawling around the big barrels with the straws. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't remember much after that. We slept in a camper that night. That's all I remember.
We did.
All right, so rye next, or do you want to go? This is American Single Malt.
I think let's have a little splash of that.
Okay.
Because this is the proofiest thing we have from them, which is 54.6. So that's another 6.5 proof points from that.
By the way, in Mark's hat,
we have a surprise. I don't want you to see it.
I don't even know. Do you want me to close my? I have to get my water anyway. Here, show them while I'm getting my water.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, there's no point showing because. Then don't turn around. Yeah, I'll just wait. I'll show them when we pour it. But anyway, I have a surprise and a story that goes with it because it's me. There's always some words I have to say about it. But I have that, so we'll get to that.
My guess is Fireball. All right,
it's not Fireball.
If you brought Fireball into this garage, the chaos that would ensue.
We're done. We're not friends anymore.
All right, pour cam me. Pour cam.
Oh, Kathy likes the idea that we're looking at stuff outside the normal line.
Good.
And that, Kathy, I think this Deerhammer encouraged me more to dig into the burgeoning scene of American single malt. How's that pour cam looking to you?
It did not pour cam at all. Slacking as usual.
I got it right the first time. Yeah, Deerhammer. So this when we were there in, I think it was May 2021.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Lenny gave us these great big long silicone straws, and the bungs in his barrels are not hammered in. They're just little silicone bungs. You just pull them right out, and he says, "Help yourself." And so we did. We did. Yeah. If you haven't stuck a giant straw in a barrel of whiskey and drank it,
do it.
Do it. It's a lovely experience.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
And part of that was he let us pick a barrel, and so. He did point us in a direction and say the best barrels are over there. We picked a couple, and I remember thinking, this is like apple pie. It was amazing. But Dan and I picked different ones.
We did.
And Dan, because he's not as cool as me, has not opened his. Mine's open.
I'm saving it so that when we get down to here, we can have a continuation and a comparison. I'm doing this for us.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, with this one, this was all chocolate. This is, to me, sweeter. It has a little cinnamon on it.
Do you remember how old those barrels were? I don't remember.
I don't either. Does it say?
Nothing would have been particularly old, but...
This is bottle 2 out of 200. Barrel 254. We could probably just ask Lenny.
I think he made that up.
Oh, yeah, numbers.
He has to track that stuff.
Right. I don't remember, but... it's delicious. I mean, and it's not old because, that was one of the things that got us to Deerhammer initially was us going off about young whiskeys are never good. Not true. And Lenny was the first to sort of throw that back at us and say, let me show you what you can do with a young whiskey. And that's some of these.
Ryan is fitting to stir some shit up.
Oh boy. That's right here. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Let's do this.
Tell him what you think. Answer his question.
Ryan, what did you chicken out at in terms of price?
Ryan wants... everybody can see the comments, but Ryan wants to know about the bottled and bond.
The Heaven Hill bottled and bond.
If people did correct, there'd be nothing to chicken out about. It'd be in a store for $40, but that's not the way it works. If you, Ryan, if you see it on the shelf in the $40 range, I'd say it's worth every penny. Even I'd buy a case of it.
Yeah. I bought this for $45, but I've also seen this on the shelf for $75, for $150.
No bueno.
Don't do it. But we'll taste that.
But those two are quite different, though. When somebody says, not worth buying when you can buy rare breed, rare breed's 12 proof points higher. It's certainly a different distillate.
And it's reliably
It's not chill filtered, but I think it's just a different beast. Yeah, 50, you got to buy that bottle.
I would buy it.
Yeah. Of the Heaven Hill whiskeys, we tend to land in the 6, 7, 8, 10-year-old range. I just don't care for Heaven Hill bourbon older than 10 years.
Yeah.
Yes, you got to have that. And if you try and compare it to something like the Henry McKenna bottled and bond, which we do quite often, and we're split on that. Dan much prefers that Heaven Hill, and I much prefer the McKenna, which is weird because it's the same whiskey. Yeah, I don't know how 3 years could matter that much, but I guess there's locations and brick houses and whatever.
It does. I mean, it's a totally different flavor as far as I can tell. But I do really like this bottle, and if I saw it for $50 around, I'd pick it up for sure.
It's very different. Well, I mean, bottled and bond's a set of regulations, and so you get just as much variance across quality whiskeys as you would across bottled and bond whiskeys. It does assure you of certain things, like at least 4 years old, exactly 100 proof, one distiller, one distilling season. So there's a base level you can expect the quality, but it's just, just all whiskeys are going to be different.
If you forget any of that, do what I do and just text Mark. I just always forget that. He's like my encyclopedia. This is still quite delicious. I don't usually go to this bottle because I've got so many other bottles.
Because it's at my house.
Well, it's also true. But it's always a good reminder because this is reliably good every time.
It's delicious.
And I don't know why.
I'll tell you how good the Deerhammer is.
It's still
nothing yet in the dump.
Nothing there. All right, well.
And Ryan, I am a big bottled and bond fan. Love it. I love the fact that the whiskey industry provided the first consumer protection law in 1897. That's brilliant.
Just so we have something to drink. There we go.
It's your turn.
Well, we put a little something good in there.
Just your turn.
All right.
You just got to do that. No?
That's my thing. Do we want to transition to rye, or do we want to go through some of the Tincups or the Heaven Hill?
I think rye would be nice because we're going to drink the Tincup rye.
Okay. All right. So let's. I haven't had this since we were at the distillery. So
you don't even know if you had that.
I probably did, but I had so many other things.
You did. We did.
Yeah. But I don't remember it in any way. I do remember, what was that big... so Ryan had this... Lenny had this barrel, and it had this growth in it. What was that?
A rum he was...
It was like and it had some sort of like jackfruit or something in it.
That's right. He had put a jackfruit in it that had molded or some funky fermentation thing.
It looked like a monster.
It smelled cool.
I'm curious whatever happened to that. If it's...
I don't know. The other thing I want to ask him is he had an experiment going... When the barrel, they need to proof whiskey down after it comes out of the barrel before it's bottled. And he had this experiment going of, if I just dump the water in and proof it down now versus a little bit at a time over time, which is one of those old wives' tale, is it really make a difference? He was experimenting with that.
Yeah.
I would like to know.
He had like these little beakers and everything. Yeah, a little science experiment that would go over there with a clipboard. I wasn't actually writing anything, but I just, a little clipboard. Yeah. Pour cam.
It's on.
Oh, all right.
Look.
Give me a glass.
Oh. I always forget something.
Ooh, that smells good.
It does. And this is an interesting test because we've become pretty big homers.
Hold on.
Dan's poured
on my computer.
We've become pretty big homers for Deerhammer. So here's something we don't remember having or what we think of it.
All right. That was poorly coordinated. I'm going to get this off my computer before. Okay. Ooh.
Redwood or cedar.
Someone recently described to me a rye, and he said it was like walking into the lumber department at Home Depot.
That's what this smells like.
Which is one of my favorite smells.
It's more of a specialty hardwood smell here.
Yeah.
Wow. That is different.
Yeah.
It's consistent with the nose.
Yeah, it's a little thinner than I was expecting.
It is thin, but it's 90 proof.
Yeah.
No, it's not. 88 proof.
88. Okay, that would explain.
I think I like the flavor.
And we jumped
very
down,
different.
We jumped down from.
Yeah, we didn't cleanse.
No, it's 100 and.
100. That's 100.
It's 100 in math. Yeah,
it's 109.2.
So we did go from 100 and whatever he just said to 88 proof. So that is a jump.
I like the flavor though.
There's nothing bad about it. It's just I can't really get much of it. I think it is a proof difference, though.
Yeah.
We should have started lower.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
I think Mika's trying to get in. I can't get a hold of this one.
Me either.
Well,
because I got a weird little pencil shaving thing in there, too.
I don't get that.
Like cedar.
You had cedar pencils when you were a kid?
It's between cedar and pencil shavings.
Okay, Rockefeller. All right. I can't get a handle on this one. I think we're going to have to come back to this one.
I agree.
There's nothing offensive about it. I just can't quite get into the...
We're going to call this a no call for the moment.
Yeah. All right. Dump glass.
Yeah. I got to remember there's a dump class there. Yeah. I do have to go home at some point.
Should we go rye to rye then?
Yep, that was the idea.
Okay. So, Tincup, we should talk a little bit about, because actually, I had just assumed that the standard Tincup, this blue label stuff, was just MGP, and it is not. While I'm pouring, do you want to explain?
Yes, so of course, Jess is the co-founder of Stranahan. Stranahan does American single malt whiskey. And so he started experimenting with some high rye MGP distillate. And I'll explain a little more about that because it is important given the grief we give MGP. Mm-hmm. And blended with some Stranahans. And he started off thinking maybe 10% Stranahans. I think he said ends up being 3 or 4% Stranahans.
Smaller, yeah.
And the idea that whiskey's distilled and then blended versus something like bourbon where all the grains go together is not something that most American distilleries do. So that was interesting in and of itself. But the key part about the MGP piece, which gives you a little hope, is that rather than it being distilled at MGP, proofed at MGP, aged at MGP, it's distilled at MGP, sent to Colorado, cut to proof with Colorado water, which we all here in Colorado believe that to be some sort of fountain of youth, and then aged here. And so that's different. And is it awesome? No, but it's pretty good given it's a $30 bottle of whiskey.
Yeah. While we're sipping this and sliding face first into the weekend together as we do, tell us what you guys are drinking. What do you guys...
Because we know you're drinking.
Yeah, we know.
Well, Eric. Hopefully Eric's not in the ICU. But
no, the rest of you have a responsibility. I was a guest on a podcast today, and the host said to me that her favorite bourbon, or her favorite whiskey, I should say, is I.W. Harper. And
interesting.
I haven't had that in a while. We should get a bottle of that.
It's kind of pricey for something that's... I enjoyed the one bottle I've had.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the only time I've had it was with you.
I've enjoyed it. Yeah. But
how much is it?
I think I paid $75 or $80 for a bottle.
That's hard.
I don't even remember. It's like I don't remember what I had. Hard to say. I do remember that it's one of those square bottles where the opening's in the center, and so basically you lose 10% of the bottle volume by spilling it everywhere.
All right. What are y'all drinking?
And where did our chats go? Did something happen where?
No, I got us over here. Unless you guys are
just
ignoring
stopped with Ryan.
No. Unless they're ignoring us, which hey,
I would.
So this is...
There they are.
She's got rare breed.
Rare breed.
Bourbon or rye? Which one are you drinking?
Kathy, we're such... You're new here, but we're such Wild Turkey homers.
We are. Bookers and Wild Turkey, basically. This is sweeter. This has, I think, a more distinct flavor profile. Well, I'm going to go back to this because...
Did we pour the rye?
We did.
Yeah, it is sweeter. It's less any one thing. But there is that classic MGP... a 95.5 mash bill profile, which I don't ever find offensive. I think that's pretty good. And what
I do too.
Was it a $30 bottle too, or $40 bottle?
Yeah, it's not that much more. I think it's the same price as this. And I think I've been kind of having a moment with MGP Rise.
I've got to stop guzzling whiskey. Now Ryan's on.
Ryan's
he's on the Dan train today.
Ryan.
Olfo 1920 is Dan's favorite.
I love that bottle.
And incidentally, the bottle that launched our YouTube channel.
Tis true.
Because I had a bottle I had not opened. Mm-hmm. Dan was completely a nut job about it. And so the first video, we just held my phone up and I talked about the bottle and opened it, and that was how we started.
Bender's just sipping coffee. Acceptable.
Bender, I've had 3 double espressos today so far.
Town Branch Stout Barrel finished.
Wow, never heard of that.
Ooh, Scott's got the Boulder Spirits Cash Strength open. That's a good one. I think I have some of that, actually.
Oh, that's a very good bottle. Yeah. I shared that. A friend of mine came from the Springs this week and hung out overnight.
Yeah.
And we drank some, and I gave him some of that. I said, this is hot, but delicious. Mm-hmm. He took a way too big a swig. First one.
I've seen a little bit of that on the shelf, and I just got to buckle down.
But he agreed it was tasty.
It is.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I got to buckle down and just buy it. I think that's my next bottle.
There's not a lot of them.
No, I know, and that's why I want to get
that Trailhead. I keep meaning to go buy and get another bottle of that.
Yeah. That's delicious. And actually, I was just up there the other day.
Oh, look, Larry's Old Forester in too. And speaking of bottled and bond, the old 1897. Nice.
Shamefully, I don't have any 1920 on my shelf right now, which I really should.
I don't either. I almost brought a bottle of 1910 because you were talking about, you had found the Peerless twice barreled bourbon at a store. We declined.
It was a double oak. Yeah, a double oak.
But that's kind of what 1910 is.
I'd never seen that one on the shelf. So.
Has anybody done the 1915 trick? The 50% 1910, 50% 1920?
That's way too much math for me, man.
Half an hour.
It would end up at 1720. I don't know.
Dan would end up at sometime in Mesopotamia.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I got a point. Right. I like that.
I think so too.
And certainly I was wondering how affected we were because we're just
the star power. Yeah.
We're sitting there talking to Jess Graber, who's the nicest guy you'll ever talk to.
I will say, I like this. I don't love it. I think if I was going on a camping trip or if I wanted just an inexpensive bottle that I knew was okay and good,
or something different.
Yeah, I think this is fine. This is impressive. I would say for a $30
at the
bottle.
price point, and it's 3 years old.
Yeah,
at the price point. For what it is. And again, same thing with that. Distilled at MGP like all the other MGP rye, but it comes to Colorado. Yeah. It gets proofed down with Colorado water.
Yeah, right.
Obviously, that makes some kind of difference.
Vastly superior.
Vastly. Yeah. Says the two guys in Colorado.
All right.
Ryan hasn't tried the 1950.
Well,
neither have I.
There's no time like the present for those of you that might have it. Anyway, so
where are we off to now?
MGP Renaissance for me. I'm having a moment. I like it. That's been fun. The only thing we have left is the Heaven Hill, and we've had this Baker's hanging out. And I brought the Baker's out because...
That's not enough.
I know. Well, so we keep talking about doing a Jim Beam day where we just go down.
Yeah, let's save that for that. 'Cause I've got a Knob Creek 12. I've got a 15. We've got a truckload of store-picked Knob Creeks.
You never saw nothing. It wasn't here.
Wasn't here.
Yeah. So that leaves the Heaven Hill.
Yeah, well, I had some of that.
Well, okay. Do you want to do... Well, so we've had Rise. We've had Deerhammer. I can open mine, and we can compare our barrels. But I kind of just want to wait so that we can elongate that experience.
Okay. Elongate.
Speaking of elongating.
Let's one more try. Now, if you didn't know this was coming, and you saw this logo...
What would you say it is? Is that...
It's our logo.
It is our logo.
Okay.
We're having discussions.
I like my t-shirt.
Yeah, we're having discussions about redesigning the logo.
You're having discussions. I'm thinking I might take your original advice was, let's just own it.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. I'm okay with owning it. Well, what do you want to drink? So we've got another MGP rye. We got the beer barrel rye.
How about that Dexter stuff you bought?
Oh, yeah. So I went back to this. Clearly, I was not in the mood for this. So do you remember this one? This was from a few weeks ago. Some of you may remember this. I bought this. So Mark and I are always prepared.
Not.
And so I bought this literally moments before we recorded because I was like, you know what? I've never heard of this. It's a Maryland whiskey. Let's give it a go. And it's got this little tag here that says it's an ultimate recommendation. See?
Not from us.
No, it's one of the top bourbons in the world. So, I thought, okay, let's give it a go. And it's got this dorky story on the back. And so to me, it was like, this is marketing. So this will be at least a good thing to talk about on our video. And, when we opened it, we both thought, okay, it's not bad.
It appears that the overwhelming opinion is the t-shirt still looks like I have a large phallic object on my t-shirt.
Well, sure. It doesn't help that you went, like... Anyway, so we're drinking Dexter. So the story with this...
And Larry and Kathy are talking about the... where'd it go?
The 1910.
Town Branch. The Town Branch single barrel.
Oh, the Town Branch.
Larry's heading towards brandy because it tastes like fermented apples.
Oh, okay. So Town Branch, I haven't had... Or Long Branch.
That's Long Branch.
Long Branch.
This is Town Branch.
Town Branch I've never had.
And Bender's never technically made 1915, but he drinks a lot like us. So he's had some 1910, 1920, and poured the leftovers together.
He's a historian.
He's a historian.
Yeah. Anyway, Dexter. So we're in Maryland now. This is Brain Brew.
I sure wish I'd been listening to you talk about that because I don't remember anything about that whiskey.
Sorry, Ohio, not Maryland. Ohio their distillery is just east of Cincinnati and 7 miles north of Kentucky.
Huh.
So there's a lot of stupid stuff like that.
There's nothing wrong with that. I like it a lot better now than I remember liking it before.
And this is finished in reclaimed 200-year-old oak, maple wood, and cherry wood. And the cherry, I think, pops. Cherry in the
They like put a bunch of wood in there.
I guess.
Not bad. What did you pay for that?
I was in the $50 range.
Huh.
Not bad, right?
It's not. Pretty good.
I came back to this, though, and stupidly. I came in here one night, and I was like, I want rare breed. And then I went to the shelf, and I was like, I should try something different. So I pulled this out, and I poured a little bit. And it ended up in the yard.
Yeah, if you have rare breed on the brain and that's what you get, you're not going to be in it.
It was not the right choice, but right now it tastes delicious.
It's not bad. Yeah. Would I do that at 50?
That's the call, right?
Probably not.
There's a lot of oak right up front. A lot of oak.
Yeah.
But it's not bad. Like you know how sometimes you get that oak, like it's like a moldy oak. Mm-hmm. This is not that. This is just pure. This is just like good.
It's
oak.
a sweet enough oak. Mm-hmm. It's not the astringent oak. It's got an interesting finish. There's apples or cherries or something in the finish. It's pretty good.
I still have this on my okay list.
Yeah. You know. I think maybe it's had the benefit of some air for a while.
Right.
That often. I like that. Not bad.
But all right. But the question is it an ultimate recommendation?
It is not.
Is it one of the top 12 bourbons in the world?
No, it's not the top 12 bourbons in this garage. But it's not bad.
It's not bad.
Given you've gotten some stinkers.
I have.
And 2022 has been a rough whiskey year for Dan.
Like when we do our Christmas episode, this is like the ghost of Christmas.
Ryan, gosh, it's all over. How do we decide what we're going to drink when we look at our shelves?
All of it. Well, am I looking at my shelf or at Mark's shelf? Because those are two different strategies.
Those are slightly different.
Yeah. That's a good question. We do default a lot to Wild Turkey.
We do, but you're not there all the time with me. It's a little sad.
Mm-hmm.
And I did this last night. I get a glass. I walk to the shelf, and I stand there. Often I stand there until my wife goes, "What are you doing?" Trying to decide what to drink.
And an hour and a half later.
And we talked about this on a podcast, not an hour and a half, but a little while. We talked about this on a podcast. So there's budgets, right? There's financial budgets. There's time budgets. But there's also a whiskey budget from the standpoint of I just can't drink everything all night because I'm only going to have a pour or two in a given night. And so at that point, that's what I'm doing at the shelf. Yeah. I don't get to drink 8 ounces of whiskey. I mean, we don't drink quite that much here. Every day's not Friday Sips Live. So I do have to decide. So I don't really know how I do that.
This is completely unrelated.
Kathy, we will send you some Cream of Kentucky. It is that bad. You will have to sign a release.
Yeah.
It's the only whiskey I've ever tasted that I think has some sort of lethality to it.
Our release is written in crayon. Don't take it too seriously. But it is bad.
It's horrid.
But when she asked that question, my thought was, well, it's not as bad as Hidden Barn.
It's worse. It's way worse.
It's way worse than Hidden Barn.
Yeah.
But on the Hidden Barn note, I just got this email today that Miss Jackie Zykan is coming to Molly's just down the road here to do a bottle signing of Hidden Barn. And I saw...
Yeah, but we'd have to buy another bottle.
I know.
And look, this was the first one. They're releasing stuff every week.
Yeah.
Maybe, I hope it got better.
I hope so too. But Hidden Barn is on the allocated list
Oh, sure.
At one of the stores that I visit frequently, and that maybe stay away from that one for a while.
Oh, here's another. So, Scott, are double oak whiskeys pure gimmick in your opinion? No, I don't think they're gimmicks. They're no more gimmicks than any finishing technique can often be a gimmick. Not always, but can be a gimmick.
We've only had one really bad one, like that was just undrinkable.
Yeah, the Woodford double.
Yeah. But I mean, overall they've been okay.
The Old Forester 1910, which now I wish I brought it.
Yeah,
that's that deal. And of course, they have a story. You know, in Whiskey Row one year, there was a big fire. But at the time of the fire, they had gotten ready to bottle a whole bunch of whiskey. Couldn't, so they put it back in barrels because in the 1800 or 1910, that's all they had. What do you?
I'm just. I feel like we should have like.
All right, she's had it. It is that bad.
I know, and we need to have like a Cream of Kentucky moment on every live stream so we can all just get together.
Oh, I read Kathy's comment wrong. My bad. That's why Dan handles comments. Dan words, I math.
Yeah. Cream of Kentucky. We need to just come together as like a support group about Cream of Kentucky.
Has anybody had subsequent releases of that? Because there's been at least one more.
There's been two. I think two.
Are they as hideous? And on the Hidden Barn thing. It is my most disappointing whiskey I paid for in 2022. It's not foul trash can water like the Cream of Kentucky. It's just not good. And I paid $75 for it. And I'm a gigantic Jackie Zykan fan, and so it's a little disappointing in that respect.
And I'll stick with what I said originally when we opened it and when we tasted it again, was that there are redeeming qualities to it, but it's just not.
There's one. It has a nice mouthfeel.
It does, but I think there's some flavors in there that are decent. But I think, given what Jackie Zykan has come to represent in this industry, she had an obligation to come out with something a lot better than this.
And there's no way they didn't know that.
Exactly.
There's no way the 4 people involved in that project tasted that and went, "This is awesome."
Kathy, I hate to say it, but I would pick Malort every day over Cream of Kentucky.
I've never had Malort.
Don't. Just as a friend, listen. Don't do it. But Malort every day.
I'm trying to figure out what I could put in, because there's not much in the dump glass for Dan to drink.
Here, I got some Bookers we could just pour in.
Put a little of that in there. That's pretty good.
It is. I'm going to put some in there because I have to drink the dump glass.
And we don't have formal rules for the dump glass, but I do believe if you don't drink it, it must go in the dump glass, and which leaves a little room for the surprise bottle.
Oh, I forgot about the surprise bottle.
Maybe we should go to the surprise bottle.
Let's do it. I don't know if you want some Boulder Spirits single barrel cash strength, but I have that. Because Scott's drinking that. And Scott, what did you think of it?
You know, that'd be a nice. Excuse me.
Whoa. You gonna explode?
I think I did.
Was it? I don't trust being next to you with those noises coming out of you.
Well, at least they're coming out up here.
Yeah.
I think a little splash of that would be nice to cleanse the palate before the surprise bottle.
My palate. All right. Well, we'll do a little. So Scott's drinking the Boulder Spirits single barrel cash strength, and so we will too.
And just a
little splash. Dan pour splash.
4 ounces.
You're gonna drink right.
Drink. That's right.
Yeah. All right. So this is the Boulder Spirits. Tell me about, while we're drinking Boulder Spirits, tell me about the mystery bottle.
Well, then it wouldn't be a mystery.
Oh, so I have to drink it blind?
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna do a blind shelfie throwdown.
No, I don't. You don't need to try. I just don't want you to know what it is when you drink.
Blind shelfie throwdown.
God, that's good.
The nose is amazing. This is like a sleeper. I really do think so.
Well, and I think even when Ryan Negley, I forget. I feel bad. I don't remember his actual title, so I made one up like Global Maven of Whiskey. I don't even think it was hot. It just went right down nice and easy.
Now you've been drinking a lot.
So have you.
No, that has a little bit of hot, but then wow. Well, Scott, you know a guy in Colorado. Just saying.
At least 2 guys.
This is delicious. It does have that blast of heat.
5 years old.
That's it?
5 years old. Cat. It was 133.8 proof, I believe, if memory serves.
So I will say this: when I first moved to Colorado, everybody was like, "Colorado's having a whiskey moment," and I was like, "Yeah, I've had their whiskey. These are getting really good."
Yeah.
All right,
we've not had a thing bad that we didn't like at Boulder Spirits.
That's true. All right, on to mystery bottle.
Okay, so you need to be blindfolded. I do not trust you in the least. Hang on.
If you gave me the hat that this is wrapped in. Oh, this is embarrassing.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the mystery bottle. I don't know. Let's see. It's going to be hard to actually see that. I may have to just tell you after. But there's that.
I'm sitting under a coat.
Sitting under a coat. And you need to stay under the coat.
It's taking forever.
Well, you know, if you want speed, we should do these before we've been drinking all day long.
I feel like Cousin It.
We'll skip pour can.
All right.
Your glass needs rinsing.
Show everybody what it is too, so they can see.
I did. It's
okay.
You'll see in a minute. Well, it's kind of hard to. Yeah, I don't know what to do with what.
It's dark under here. Just saying. I can see it on your sleeve.
Okay, let me hide so you don't see. Okay.
All right. Am I good?
Yep.
All right. Your deodorant is lovely, by the way.
Thank you. All right. Okay. So I don't know if anybody can see what that was, but we'll talk about that in a minute. This is whiskey.
I'm familiar with it.
With this or with whiskey?
With whiskey.
And I have not had this either, by the way.
That's dark. That's really. Can you guys see that? No, you can. Of course, you can't see that.
Do you want to
pour can that? Yeah. That's really dark.
It is.
That's got a really rich
kind of ebony.
Yeah. A little ambery color going on there. All right. Peppery. Oaky. Young. Not bad.
I don't get young. It is very oaky.
Yeah.
Lovely mouthfeel. Dry.
The finish has like a vapory.
It's just dry. It's all
Loveliness.
good out. Okay, just dried my and just dry.
Yeah, it does dry your mouth out pretty well. So is this higher proof? Because it's really because usually when it dries your mouth out like that,
it's usually proofy, but it's not. If anybody could see that, don't say anything.
chocolatey. I don't know what the hell I'm drinking, but I'm gonna keep drinking it.
It is an odd nose.
It does have a little bit of, wow, it's a little chocolate. Like the reminiscent of a double oaked whiskey, but the last couple we've tried were not very good. So it's a distorted sort of assessment there.
If you're new here, you don't know what an amazing job I'm doing at not giving this away, because I absolutely suck. I'm the worst about giving shit away.
Generally, that means I'm completely wrong.
You are all over this one.
Am I?
Let me share with you what this is.
Let me see. I'm curious.
Because mostly, it's just nice that you didn't immediately spit it out.
Yeah.
This
it's
is
a Woodford.
Woodford Reserve. Double oak.
I knew it.
You didn't say that.
Well, I said double oaked, right?
You did. Oh, you did say double oak.
Yeah.
Definitely. Spicier in character than double oak. Starts in standard new oak, finished in heavy toasted new oak barrel. It is the standard 90.4 Woodford proof.
So why is this not nasty like the double oak we had?
The only thing I can think of, and I've never had another Woodford double oak other than the one we poured out in your yard. Although I felt bad about it, so I never actually posted the video.
We do have a video, and it's good.
That was the sweat sockiest, wet cardboard.
Ooh, Bender was close. He said Woodford Reserve Distillery Series chocolate malt.
Yeah, you're there.
Double oak.
So I'm just surprised. This was a gift.
Like 100 oaked.
This was a gift from a very dear friend, but not a whiskey person. So that's kind of what happens. You buy gifts for enthusiasts about things, and sometimes it doesn't work out.
Right.
I'm glad this worked out. I don't think that's bad. I do think I can taste some of the base spirit in there, but it doesn't have the sweat sock, nasty flavor that other does.
Yeah,
this is decent. I like this.
The double oak we had was just flat out bad. This is good. It does have the distinctive double oaked
You called
flavor.
that. You called that 100%.
And if for me to call
I'm
that,
very proud.
do you know how fucking? And you have to hit me over the head with that like a lot.
And I'm glad because when you were talking that double barreled whatever Peerless, that's when I pulled that out. So it did fit well in the context of today.
2020.
What year? 2020.
Bottling date. So for those of you listening, actually, this is a good. So I can go up to Total Beverage tonight and grab that Peerless double oaked if you guys are feeling it. It's $90. I'm putting a lot of money on the line for you.
The nose is pretty.
That's
good.
how much I like you people. What do you think? Peerless double oaked, worth it? Mark and I both like the Peerless bourbon and rye. Mm-hmm. So Peerless is one of our.
I haven't had one in a long time though.
I know I haven't had one either. The Peerless.
Just for the record, the only Peerless rye I had you bought, which I believe means you have to always buy those for me.
Is that like if I save your life, I'm responsible?
Correct.
For it? Okay.
You now, as far as my drinking of Peerless rye, it's all up to you.
Okay. All right. Well, fair enough. I didn't see any rye, but there was Peerless.
It's not bad.
No.
I like that. In fact, it's not only not bad, it's
good.
quite tasty. Yeah.
But that's actually good because I really was down on Woodford Reserve after that bottle. I was really bummed.
I don't know if I finished saying this. I think the only possibility, if in fact, and we know Woodford's a quality whiskey, there's no reason to think not, but that bottle was a single barrel bottle from a local store, so maybe they chose poorly.
It's true. How much did that go? Well, you don't know how much they
no
used
idea.
as a gift. Okay.
No idea. It'd be poor form for me to ask how much my gift cost.
Speaking of stuff you guys can't get, Stranahan's just released a few more of the distillery only experimental series. Remember, I had the peated one. And
it was good.
It was really good. Yes. They come in tiny little bottles. They're super expensive, but that was really, really good. So I'm half tempted this weekend to go down there.
What would it take to get you 100% tempted?
I go down there.
Good. Let's do that. This has been fun.
Yeah.
So hopefully you have a little more open mind like Dan to MGP rye.
Yeah.
I'm going to act like I always was that way. And whatever that Dexter stuff is.
No, this is decent.
It's not bad.
Yeah, if you see this on the shelf for $40-$50, I'd say grab it.
It's different. It's worth. Maybe it's worth that. Who knows?
If you have friends that like the sweeter kind of whiskeys that are not bubblegum sweet, this is a good choice.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell you, we talked about some Heaven Hill and some bottled and bond. Always love a bottled and bond whiskey, but that's a set of rules rather than a style.
Yep.
So try that Heaven Hill. If you buy Heaven Hill $40-$50, you can't beat that.
Bender, buy that bottle because it's $10 more expensive here. So the double oak Peerless, it's $89.99 here. So seems like a good deal.
And then if you ever get around Deerhammer, and these will both.
Yeah, if you guys want some.
I guess whatever. The sooner we drink this, the sooner I get to open Dan's bottle. So I'll tell you what I will promise to do this week for those emails I have, which is everybody here today. I'll send out a list of what I've got available to sample out, and everybody can pick 4 or 5, and I'll get those.
Don't forget what I got too.
Whatever Dan's got too. We'll make a list and send it out. And then this worked out really fun. Although as soon as we finish on Instagram, Dan will drink the dump glass. Unfortunately, there's nothing bad in the dump glass today, but I had a dump glass recently that if there was a bottle of it I could buy, I would buy it.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. Well, I'm about to have a different experience, I think. If you don't follow us on Instagram, do that.
Larry, you buy the Peerless bottle, and I need to buy more sample bottles.
I'm not good at math, but I think I make out okay.
No.
Larry, I don't know. Cheers.
Thanks for everybody for showing up.
Cheers.
Don't forget about the podcast. We can do a research session on how to end the live stream.
We should just shout